The train travels through densely populated areas, frequently 20 metres from people's homes, schools and businesses. There are over 1,000 shipments of spent nuclear fuel on our rail systems every year.
Nuclear power in the UK started really after the war, and it was really all about getting plutonium for more nuclear weapons, and then from that the spread of civil nuclear reactors certainly happened from the 50s through the 60s, 70s and into the 80s. So we now have a fleet of about 11 or 12 working reactors here in the UK, which account for about 18% of our electricity.
In the southwest of England, there is a nuclear power station called Hinkley Point. Every week, out of public view, spent nuclear fuel is loaded into containers. These travel through country lanes to Bridgwater, where the container is then loaded onto a train. This happens every week.
The more they can normalise it, the better they consider they are. But of course, the truth is that if one of these flasks with the reactor fuel in were to be involved in a major accident, which you cannot rule out, there would be serious consequences.
It's mind-boggling that these highly radioactive waste trains are left standing idle and are driving around the countryside without many people knowing about it. Independent research commissioned for Greenpeace showed that if there was an accident with a nuclear waste transport train in somewhere like London, it could kill up to about 8,000 people, and we estimate about 190,000 people would have to be evacuated. The plume of radioactive dust could cover 100 square kilometres, which is a phenomenal amount of land. Although it contributes about 18% of our electricity, of our overall energy, it only accounts for about 3.6%. So nuclear does nothing to help heat our homes or power businesses and things like that. You know, the government says, what are we going to do if the Russians turn off the gas taps? Well, about 6% of our gas comes from Russia. So again, it almost feels like the government is bullying people into accepting nuclear power.
But which communities would make that choice? Certainly not the Cumbrians.
It produces a huge amount of radioactive liquid waste, gas wastes and solid wastes, and the liquid, as we know, gets pumped out into the Irish Sea here, where it contaminates marine life. The radioactivity comes back on land and can be found all along the beaches here.
Nuclear waste will continue to be transported to Sellafield from operating plants and reactors undergoing decommissioning.
There is, of course, a call from some sections of the community these days for new nuclear power stations, particularly because they don't produce carbon dioxide, and if we had power stations it would help combat global warming. There's no evidence that that is the case. The actual carbon dioxide footprint of the nuclear industry is huge. If you take it back to the basic steps of first mining the uranium to make the fuel, converting the uranium into fuel, using the fuel in reactors, treating the fuel at the back end here at Sellafield. It has a huge carbon footprint.
Other countries are taking a more proactive approach to alternative, greener, sustainable energy creation.
Germany is very keen on renewables, energy efficiency, like solar power. The government there has really supported the growth of the renewable industry. Sadly, in stark contrast to the UK government, who said in 2003 and 2004 that renewables were the way forward, but since then they've effectively let the industry wither on the vine. So now it's almost like the tactics of a schoolyard bully. They're saying climate change is a huge threat. The renewables industry isn't working, so therefore we need nuclear power. But this is a complete red herring, because nuclear power just isn't the solution to climate change.